bind. A victory for humanity.
All right, guys, so I'm going to go through this pretty quick. Everybody's going to be wondering what's one of the best builds to use when it comes to Serena for the Ice Maiden, and I think this one's going to be one of the best. It's going to be netting you between 12 and 14 second kills, maybe lower if you actually put on the God tier reactor, and I think that's what everybody's looking for. So having said all that, let's go ahead and jump right into the build. So the first weapon we're going to be using is the AK, and for the cores on your AK, this is what you're going to be looking at. You're going to want 1 fire rate, 2 firearm attack, 1 fire attack, and you're going to want 1 rounds per mag. When it comes to the roll on this, we're going to be looking at bonus firearm attack versus Colossus. We're going to be looking at firearm attack, fire attack, and we're going to want to round this out with multi-hit chance. You will want to try to gold that one out if you can. I was just running a little short on resources. For the roll on the weapon, this is what we're going with. We're really wanting to try to get those multi-hit chances up as much as possible. This gun is going to be doing a lot of work because the multi-hit is going to be proccing a lot of additional skill damage. So that's the big focus on this weapon, is getting that multi-hit as high as possible. So that's why we've got it set up the way it is. Everything outside of that is just more damage, and that's going to help us out. For a shotgun, we really like the Executor. The Executor is great because it has really good fire rate, and high fire rate means that we get to proc our skills faster, and that's what this whole build is about. When it comes to this, we're going to be going with 1 fire rate core, we're going to be going with 1 firearm core, 2 quality of life mods here, which is aim shot accuracy and recoil. And then when it comes to the roll down bottom, we're going to be going with more multi-hit chance, firearm critical hit damage, bonus attack versus Colossus, and some more firearm damage. When it comes to the roll on this, we're going to be doing something very similar to what we were doing with the AK, which is trying to get our multi-hit chance as high as we can. Outside of that, we are going to put shell up on here for some additional pellets, and we're going to crank that fire rate. And then one big thing we're going to do here is we're going to put a lot of mag on this gun. Now, I do know that Serena can dash to reload her weapons, but the whole goal here is to not dash too much because you will be pretty close on your MP. So having all of the extra rounds in the gun up front just makes it easier to take out the enemy and not spend your time dashing. For our reactor here, we're going to go with a singular reactor. For our optimized conditions, you're going to want assault rifle and shotgun on this. Now, for the reactor's roll down bottom, I have singular and fire skill power boost ratio. This is probably the second best reactor you can get. If you're looking for the God roll reactor on this, I would consider going with singular skill power boost and bonus skill damage versus Colossus. That's going to get you just a little bit more damage, which is going to take this from, I would say, maybe a 12, 13, 14 second kill down to close to a 10 second kill. When it comes to our components, we are going to go ahead and use the Firebrand set here. We like this because this is going to help us with our damage, and this isn't going to make it harder for us to keep our skills up. We've tried this with the Slayer set, but there definitely were some MP issues with the Slayer set. So we did switch over to the Firebrand set, and we had a lot better time. Things were a lot more consistent, and we were able to stay in the air longer, so we really like this set on this build. For the inversion reinforcement, this is what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at fire focus rounds, strike point amp, and aerial maneuvering raider. The most important ones here are obviously going to be the fire focus rounds and the aerial maneuvering raider. The fire focus rounds are going to give us a boatload of extra damage, and the aerial maneuvering raider is going to give us more multi-hit. Multi-hit is what this whole build synergizes around. The strike point amp is just some nice bonus damage to those weak points. So when it comes to the Arche tuning, this is what we went with. I decided to go with a hybrid approach here because this gave me the most consistent kill times. So what you're going to be looking at here is we are going to be getting the multi-hit gold node on the left, and we're going to be getting the skill power node on the right, and we're going to be filling it in the way that we have it here. Again, this is just for consistency. I found that this did the best, so this is what we settled on. All right, guys, so when it comes to Serena, this is actually the build that we're going with. As you notice, other than Dangerous Ambush, there's not really any skill power boost on here. And there's a reason for that, and that all has to do with how the Ice Maiden fight actually works. So because of the way the fight works, we don't really need skill power in her mods. So we're better off to build into her other buckets, other than Dangerous Ambush. And that's what we've done here. Outside of that, everything else on here is just to make it easier for her to fly, stay in the air, and use skills. And then we finish out with some HP on here, and that's going to really help her for skill. All right, so now that I've ran you through the build, we're actually going to talk about how this build works. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grapple towards the boss. Once you get close to the boss, you're going to want to go ahead and pop your 2. Once you're in the air, you're going to want to use your 4. Your 4 is going to cause you to do an insane amount of AoE damage with your AK. And the reason we're using the AK is for the multi-hit. The additional bullets from the multi-hit will proc more skills. And the more skills we proc, the faster we can delete that shoulder. But before we start shooting, we want to go ahead and use a number 1. The reason we're using the number 1 is it is going to put Repentance on the boss. Repentance is a debuff, and that debuff allows our guns to do a couple different things. When it comes to our general round guns, they actually get increased multi-hit damage and multi-hit rate, which is absolutely huge, because that means we've got even more explosions to delete that shoulder. So now that we've popped our 4 and our 1, we're going to go ahead and start shooting the shoulder. The shoulder should break really, really fast. So after we break that shoulder, we actually get a 10x multiplier on our skill power. And the reason that's important is because when we are in the air and the enemy is under Repentance, and we use a purple round weapon, such as a shotgun, we actually get to do bonus skill power damage to the enemy. And that is where all of your damage is going to be coming from. It's not realistically coming from your shotgun. It's coming from the skill damage that your shotgun is delivering based on the enemy having Repentance on it. Okay, so I know that was a lot to take in, but I'm going to let you just rewatch the B-reel from the beginning of the video over again so you can actually see this in action.
This is divine.
All right, guys, and that's it. I'm sorry for the quick and dirty video. Normally they're a lot better put together, a lot better scripted and everything else. But this boss just came out and I really wanted to get this video out there for you guys. So unfortunately, we had to do a quick and dirty build guide, but I did want to make sure to show you all the weapons, everything you need to know, and explain to you how the build works so you understand why we did the things we did. Let me know down in the comments what you think. What do you think of this build? Is this something that's going to help you get through your fights with the Ice Maiden, or are you thinking about using something else? And if you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing for more First Descendant content, as well as other games in the future. And if you want to get to know me and the community a little bit better, you can always come over and watch us live on Twitch. I stream 5 days a week and we would love to have you over there. But having said all that, guys, thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day.